The stars are just cold, distant specks out here. Everything is silent, except for the rhythmic hiss of my own breathing inside this helmet. Mission Control calls it the lunar lullaby. I call it the sound of isolation. I'm Commander Alex Ryder, sole occupant of the Artemis 12 mission, currently parked on the far side of the moon. My job is simple: collect geological samples, run some experiments, and be the first human to spend 72 hours completely cut off from Earth's line of sight. It's been 48 hours, and the silence is starting to feel heavy. My heart is pounding a little faster than usual. I tell myself it's just the low gravity, the adrenaline of being here. But then I hear it. A faint tap, 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 tap. It's coming from outside the lander, from the hull itself. Impossible. There are no micrometeoroids on the forecast. Nothing should be out there. I radio Mission Control, my voice steady despite the tremor in my gut. Houston, this is Ryder. Hearing some anomalous acoustics on the exterior, sounds like light tapping. The reply is garbled, broken by static. We copy. Probably just thermal contraction. Stand by. I wait. The static hisses back at me, a constant companion in this void. But underneath the hiss, another sound emerges. A slow, raspy inhalation, an exhalation. It's not my breathing. It's deeper, slower. I hold my own breath, listening intently. It's still there, a phantom echo in my ears. Houston, I say, my voice now tight. I'm picking up a secondary respiratory signal on this channel. Can you confirm? The static crackles. No response. I'm alone with this sound. I force myself to focus on the mission. Suit up, check the seals, and head out for the scheduled EVA. The moment my boots touch the lunar dust, the silence returns, absolute and overwhelming. The Earth is gone, hidden behind the moon's curve. It's just me, the lander, and the endless expanse of gray, pockmarked terrain under the harsh glare of the floodlights. The tapping is gone, the phantom breathing silent. Maybe Houston was right. Thermal contraction. System glitches, my mind playing tricks on me in the crushing emptiness. As I move towards a survey site, a flicker of movement catches my eye. A shadow, long and impossibly thin, darts across the ground in front of me. You spin around, heart hammering against my ribs. There's nothing there. Nothing that could have cast it. The lander is behind me. The sun is nowhere in sight. The only light sources are the fixed lamps on my suit and the lander, and they don't move. A shadow needs a source of light and an object to block it. Out here, there was no object. My training kicks in. Document everything. I raise my wrist camera and scan the area. Nothing. I take a deep breath, trying to rationalize it. A trick of the light, a glitch in my helmet's visor. I proceed with the EVA, my steps more cautious now. My mission is to analyze the composition of a large, unexplored crater about half a kilometer from the landing site, and that's when I see them. Footprints, they're not mine. My boots leave a distinct, ribbed pattern. These are different, long, narrow, with 3 pointed toe-like indentations. They look almost animalistic, but that's impossible. My blood runs cold. I follow the tracks, my camera recording every detail. They lead from the direction of the deep shadows, away from my lander, and stretch across the dusty plains. They seem to wander aimlessly for 100 meters, and then they just stop, as if whatever made them vanished into thin air. But the tracks don't come from nowhere. I trace them back to their origin. They emerge from the edge of the very crater I was sent to explore, a pit of absolute darkness, untouched by the light of my lamps. Curiosity battles with a primal sense of fear. My mission protocol is clear. Investigate anomalies, but every instinct screams at me to turn back, to lock myself in the lander and wait for the long journey home. Houston, this is Ryder. I've found non-human tracks. I repeat, non-human tracks. They lead into the target crater. I'm going to investigate. The radio crackles. The signal weaker now. Do not. Repeat. Do not approach. Abort. Eva. The transmission cuts out. The decision is mine. If I go back now, this discovery might be dismissed as a sensor ghost. A hallucination primera bito no. I secure a tether to a nearby rock outcropping and begin my descent into the crater. The darkness swallows me whole. My suit lights cut a narrow cone through the black, illuminating walls of ancient rock. The air in my helmet feels thick, heavy. Deeper and deeper I go, the silence pressing in. Then, for just a second, at the very edge of the crater's rim, silhouetted against the starfield, I see a figure. It's tall, impossibly thin, its limbs long and jointed at odd angles. It's there for a heartbeat, and then it's gone. My heart stops. I hang there on the tether, staring up at the empty rim with start rail. Am I hallucinating? Suddenly, the radio whispers, a distorted, electronic voice. It's my own name. Alex. It's a sound that shouldn't exist, a voice formed from static and the void. I try to reply, but my throat is dry. Who is this? I manage to choke out. Only the hiss of static answers. I force myself to continue the descent. My light beam sweeps across the crater floor and catches a glint of metal. It's a structure, half buried in the lunar dust. It's not human. The design is alien, with sharp, unnatural angles and a surface that seems to absorb the light. It's ancient, covered in a layer of dust that must have taken millennia to accumulate. As I reach out to touch it, my suit's HUD flashes a warning. Oxygen levels critical. The numbers are dropping, plummeting at an impossible rate. 60%, 40%, 20%. It's a glitch. It has to be. I tap the display, but the numbers keep falling. Panic sets in. I start climbing, pulling myself up the tether with frantic energy. That's when I see it again. Te figure. Oh, it's at the bottom of the crater now, standing motionless where the structure is buried. How did it get there? It wasn't there a second ago. I scramble faster, my lungs burning, convinced my oxygen is about to run out. I glance down again. It's closer. It hasn't moved in a way I can perceive. It just appears in a new spot. A short, jerky burst of movement, like a frame being skipped in a film. Then, the dust around it stirs. Not just a puff, but a swirl, like a gust of wind. But there is no wind on the moon. The dust dances and shifts, moved by an unseen force. The radio crackles again, and this time the voice is a perfect mimic of my own. Houston, everything is fine. The anomaly is just a geological formation. I'm returning to the lander now. It's my voice, my exact tone. It's trying to call off the search. It knows. I reach the crater's edge, and I don't look back. I run. I run as fast as the low gravity will allow, bounding across the lunar surface towards the distant, shining sanctuary of my lander. Each leap feels like an eternity. Behind me, I can hear the distorted whisper of my own name, getting closer. I risk a glance over my shoulder. It's keeping pace. It's long, thin legs moving in a blur of impossible speed. It's almost on me. I can see the lander's hatch, just 50 meters away. 30. 10. I reach out my hand, my fingers just inches from the release panel. And then I feel it, a cold, crushing pressure on my back, a grip that feels like steel clamps digging into my suit. It grabs me, and the world turns upside down. The last thing I see is the gray, dusty ground rushing up to meet me. My helmet hits the surface with a dull thud, the camera still on, still recording, pointing up at the cold, indifferent stars. The only sound is a slow, raspy breathing that is not my own.